So I want to talk about the new moon because it's been kind of intense, at least for me. Even my face is severely gooey. And I noticed that this tends to happen when there is a significant energy switch and shift, timeline, jump, hop, wherever we just landed, wherever we're going to, we are traveling. Before the new moon, then the new moon happened. And then there's been this in-between energy of transformation. That's a nice way of saying death too. And I'm excited to see where we'll land. I have a feeling it's going to be big boss energy. And maybe you'll land right in your throne. But there are a couple of things that we are getting through first, I guess. Like, I'm trying to make sense of it, which is why I want to make this video. And also, maybe other people need some help. So it's been like a lot for me to actually get on here because of what I'm going through personally, which is semi-normal when you do this sort of work. We have these cycles, and sometimes stuff has to die and stuff has to be released, sacrificed, given up, whatever you want to call it. And we know that it has to, but it's not easy and it's not fun. And I'm also having crazy allergies, which I feel like is just like a representation of, like, you know, me being like allergic to this life that I had, that I no longer am quite willing to participate in the same way. So how does that look for me? I'm going to start with what's coming to me first, and the first thing that's coming is the mother wound. So that's gotten triggered a good amount in me recently. I have not looked into the astrology a lot. I do know that Uranus and Mars are going direct, and Uranus is going to be in Aquarius for, I think, like 20 years, and then 40. It's traveling out of where it was, or maybe it's Saturn that's going into Aquarius. There's some new big stations, but I feel like we're also still getting there. Okay, so back to the mother wound. Yeah, like, why is this suddenly getting triggered? Probably because our true mother is Gaia, Mother Earth, planet Earth, whatever you want to call it. And she's changing and shifting right now, which is why we are also, especially if you're sensitive or if you identify with any of the terms light worker, starseed, light warrior, you know who you are, okay? The terms are whatever, it's a placeholder, you know, it's like, just like why we have names. Are they perfect? No. Okay. Gaia is changing, and that is our true mother. So I'm having some thoughts and some feelings that then might have something to do with that. It's time to really just like release whatever false narratives of mothers and motherhoods and the limitations of what that means to, like, in any arena. And like, hold yourself as a mother. Like, what are you a mother of, you know? Especially if you don't have the best mother, and that is a wound for you. When people hurt us, it's next level when it's the mom, you know? It goes beyond the feelings, and it starts to hit you in this like soul area. And it's just painful, right? Like, it's painful. I guess I don't really share too much on here personally about my mom, but maybe I will right now for this video. Like, my mom worked really hard to make sure I survived, okay? In middle school and high school, she didn't even have a bedroom, and we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, and she worked all the time, and then her health started to decline. My dad was around before that, maybe when I was in elementary school, and then my mom and him split up, okay? Violence, there was violence, heroin. My brother was 12 years older than me, and he was a heroin addict. So, and these are other characters in my family that have now decided that I'm the monster. Okay, so it does go beyond my mom, but like, this is how I grew up as a child. And they were already like adults, or teenagers at least. And it was very scary to grow up like that, to say the least. My family has no interest in hearing about my experience as a child, nor the abuse, nor the terror and insecurity that I experienced, nor the trauma that I lived every single day. I didn't talk in class. I was very shy. I had a few close friends who were like sisters, who all had Jewish mothers, and that's how I was raised, mostly in other people's homes. Thank God, right? And my mom did the best she could. She was an abused child, physically abused, black sheep of her family, with conservative Italian parents who had no time for her like Vietnam protests and whatnot. So eventually, when people hurt you enough, and she chose partners that left her feeling also quite unsafe because they were nice, she just wanted people to be nice to her. So then she becomes hardened, you know, and doesn't do her healing work, has kids, wants that like love, instead of doing the work, thinks that it's just gonna make it all go away, and it doesn't. It doesn't. And my brothers and I were both raised in complete chaos, and it messed us up, okay? And we've all had issues with addiction and relationships, and you know, we're all creative and special people in a way, but we've all had our own way of handling the trauma, let's say that, okay? Like my oldest brother, who used to be a heroin addict, is now like very straight-laced and, you know, saves his money and prioritizes work and has not healed internally and is scared of me still, and my mom. He's lumped me in with my mom. And my brothers don't understand what the mother wound does to me, because a mother and her sons are quite different, and I'm just gonna say this, sons get babied more, okay? They just do. I've seen it in every family dynamic, and definitely in mine. So there's something about that. We all know that. Nothing new. Fathers, daughters, moms, and sons. So their experience with their mother was a little bit different than mine, and I was also pretty much an only child because they were too old by that point to be in the house. So that has just all really come up to the surface for me this last year, and I thought I was done with it, but with this new moon, all of it just like came like shooting up like a toilet as like overflows. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it's hard to deal with because it's deep feelings of abandonment and feeling misunderstood, not feeling protected. My dad doesn't even like call my brother or like my mom and like stand up for me in any regard, even though they have decided that I'm evil or something. Even though I'm the, okay, this is also what happens when you are the one to do your healing. It triggers the rest of the family unit because they're used to living in dysfunction. And you are too, until you do that work and make those changes. And then when you or like, oh no, I'm not going to participate in that crazy game anymore. They're like, you're a monster. My brother hasn't let me see his children. I've seen his new baby one time. And now there's actually a whole nother baby, a third baby that I've never even met. And seen them like one time over 3 years or something like that. Right after my ex died, they couldn't hold any space for my grief, and they didn't like the way that looked. He didn't want me around his children or his family. And for that, fuck you, Keto. You're a sad, pathetic excuse for a man. I hope that you get help one day. This is just in case they're lurking and watching. I don't think they are, but one day in the future they might be when they realize it's been a few years and I haven't spoken to them. It's sad, right? Like a family feud because of unhealed wounds. And again, this comes back to how important healing is. It's not everything, and we shouldn't spend like our whole life in that zone. But it's so important just to like give ourselves a fair chance at experiencing life in a better way. Experiencing relationships that are healthy and nourishing and not built on drama and conflict. I'm gonna get into some of my experiences in later videos. I've never really had any like deep personal shares around this stuff because I was still healing them, but I do feel that now it's time. And I'm not sure why. It's mostly because I feel like I've hit a wall in my work as a healer, because I don't think people necessarily feel comfortable with me to do one-on-ones, and I'm just not, I guess, asserting myself enough as like a teacher, like demanding attention in that regard. So in time it will develop, and I'm not really sure what else to do about it all except speak from my heart and speak from my truth. And the truth is I lost my entire life for like a third or fourth time recently, and I'm restarting again. So sometimes these are conscious things that I tear down. I say, this is over now. Let's tear it down. And it's like demolition zone. Sorry, my face is so allergic right now and gross. But I'm just like, I haven't been making videos because of this, and now I'm just like, fuck it. Like, I need to live my fucking life. So, and I'm really over like just being like, you know, like women being something to be looked at all the time. It's like, yeah, we do want to be objects of beauty, but it's also like, we're not here to be scrutinized and just be like stared at all the time. And like, if you do want it like that, like men should probably like get their shit like, you know, sorted so that maybe we can look at them too. Okay, anyway. I guess this new moon is really asking us to, it's just like, who are you? What do you want? What's your true authenticity? And every lie that I've been telling myself about my true authenticity is now coming to the surface. And a lot of that is around music, because I had some, you know, difficult times with music, and I didn't really feel up for it anymore. I was kind of like, I want to throw in the towel. I don't particularly like resonate with the attention of what being a singer like implies, especially in this day and age with like social media and this and that. But it's like, I don't know, I guess I'm doing it regardless, but at least I'm talking about like my spirituality and like things that are important to me. But which is also a huge deal because I used to be super, super shy. So like the fact that I can even do this is amazing. And like the fact that I can even get on stage and like play, that I even did that when I was younger is like incredible to me, because like my parents were shocked when I told them I wanted to do that. They were like, you? Like, you know? And I did use some fine powders to, and liquids to get courage to do that when I was younger. But it's like, that's what I needed. That's the passage I needed to go through. Also, like, my first awakening was from my drug addiction. So it's like, you know,